It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. On the show today, Jannik Sinner is in the middle of a doping controversy. The 24-year-old world number one, who recently won the Cincinnati Masters, tested positive for a banned drug twice, but was let off without any punishment or suspension. Tennis world is up in arms and they're furious around this. What's the whole story? Meanwhile, India's revolutionary former India cricket captain Sourav Ganguly is the latest to voice his concern over the rape and murder victim in Kolkata. He has now joined the protest. Voices in India's sporting world are slowly coming out in strong support. Will Ganguly, coming forward, see a more global impact? And Yusuf Dikec is surely leaving a legacy behind. His impact is seen even after the Olympics has come to an end. His pose while shooting has become quite the rage among top sporting professionals across the globe. All of that on the show today, but first a look at the headlines. Starting with cricket, reports say BCCI Secretary Jay Shah is set to become the chairman of the International Cricket Council. Shah's name was doing the rounds after Greg Barclay decided not to seek a third term. However, there is no official confirmation from Shah or the ICC. The nominations for this position are due to be finalized by August 27th. The T20 Women's World Cup has been taken out of Bangladesh. UAE will now host the mega event scheduled to take place in October. The shift in venue was due to political turmoil that is underway in Bangladesh. Multiple countries participating in the tournament have banned their travelling to Bangladesh. In additional news, the cricket board president of the country, Nazmul Hasan, has stepped down. Hasan has been replaced by former cricketer Farooq Ahmed. Over in football, former Indian football coach Igor Stimac is seeking FIFA's help to getting a compensation from the All India Football Federation or the AIFF. Earlier, Stimac was sacked by AIFF over India's poor World Cup qualifying campaign. Stimac is now seeking compensation for up to July 2026, which was the duration of his original contract. But AIFF has only offered Stimac 3 months of pay. French captain Kylian Mbappe is reportedly taking legal action against his former club, Paris Saint-Germain. The dispute arises from unpaid wages that PSG owes Mbappe. The player claims the club is yet to pay him $61.19 million, and then there are bonuses totaling over $110 million. And the Professional Footballers Association Premier League Team of the Year has been revealed. 5 Arsenal players and 4 Manchester City footballers dominated the 11-member squad. And City midfielder Phil Foden has been crowned Player of the Year. Just as Jannik Sinner wrapped up his second ATP Masters title of the year at Cincinnati, on the heels of it has come a news of the 24-year-old testing positive for a banned substance not once, but twice. This was during March, right after Indian Wells ATP event where Sinner lost in the semi-finals. The substance found in his system was clostebol, a substance that helps in the enhancement of muscle mass. But Sinner was let off by the International Tennis Integrity Agency, or the ITIA. They concluded that Sinner's positive dope test was unintentional. There was no major punishment, not even a suspension. The only inconvenience the world number one faced, the prize money of $325,000 and the 400 points that Sinner had accrued upon reaching the semi-finals of Indian Wells, that's been taken away. This is what Sinner said after the incident.
I will now put this challenging and deeply unfortunate period behind me. I will continue to do everything I can to ensure I continue to comply with the ITIA's anti-doping program. I have a team around me that are meticulous in their own compliance.
Sinner surely evaded getting suspended, but the tennis community wasn't too pleased with the verdict. There has been a huge uproar where Sinner's fellow competitors have lashed out at this decision. That's right, a lot of players do believe that this was unfair. In fact, if we go back to what has happened in the past as well, if we take you through what has happened over this particular matter, you do realize that Jannik Sinner has been caught in a bit of a issue that has now gained a lot of prominence. That's what we get from all of the voices that are now coming out in protest. Of course, this is not the only issue that we are looking at. Everybody was furious that Sinner wasn't punished for testing positive, not once but twice. But let's be honest, it's a serious offense. It's a doping offense. Athletes are bound to react and express their anger, especially when it's someone like Sinner being involved. He's the world number one and he's just won an ATP title. He needs to set an example, but ITIA's verdict came after many discussions, after interrogations, upon which they agreed to Sinner's defense. Sinner claimed that the banned substance had entered his system as a result of contamination from his fitness trainer. Sinner said his trainer Umberto Ferrara had a minor wound during the Indian Wells tournament, and to heal the cuts, Umberto had used a spray on the wound that had contained the banned drug clostebol. During the same period, Umberto used to give Sinner massages, which transferred the drug into Sinner's body. That's Sinner's defense. Given this, ITIA concluded that they were convinced it wasn't the Italian player's fault. But here's the shocking part. In Italy, the drug is present as an anabolic steroid in various medical creams and sprays. This is a very common drug used by Italians to treat cuts and wounds. And the drug is so common that it is available without any prescription and at a price as cheap as 13.2 euros. So in Italy, getting a healing spray with clostebol in it, as a banned substance, a steroid, is as common as getting a candy bar. Which is the main reason why as many as 38 Italian athletes tested positive for the same banned drug in the past 5 years alone, starting from 2019. And at the 2016 Rio Olympics, in fact, 2 Italian athletes, volleyball player Orsi Toth and sailor Roberto Caputo, failed the pre-games doping tests thanks to clostebol. The 2 who had already qualified for the games had to miss the Olympics because of this. The drug, though, didn't just miraculously make its appearance in the last 6 years. It dates back to the 1980s, commonly used by Germans and unknowingly by many like the decorated Olympian Birgit Dressel, even top German clubs like VfB Stuttgart and SC Freiburg. Back then it was used in the form of injections or oral consumption, but in the last decade alone, this banned drug has made its way to Italy and Italian sport in a simpler form, used via creams or sprays, and thus the series of positive tests followed. From football to tennis and even basketball, several Italian athletes have tested positive for the same banned substance, and just like Sinner claims, these athletes too didn't take the drug knowingly. The intake was unintentional. Matilde Paoletti got it when she petted her dog who had been sprayed with a medicine containing clostebol. Mariano Tamaro got it through a medical spray, and Riccardo Moraschini got it by his girlfriend who used the medical spray that had the banned substance. But all of them still faced the consequences of this. And here's the thing, even though clostebol is very commonly available, the packaging still comes with a warning sign, a big red cross saying this contains doping substance. It's hard to miss. And given the drug is so commonly available and it's in WADA's list of banned substances, shouldn't athletes be that little bit more cautious? This is the very reason why the tennis community is furious that Sinner was let go of without facing any consequences of failing this test twice. Because just like how clostebol is now commonly available in Italy, another banned substance, meldonium, was commonly available in Russia, the same drug that saw Maria Sharapova being banned for 2 years. And back in 2016, when Sharapova was indeed banned, hundreds of cases involving Russian athletes at the center of meldonium drug emerged, which is why tennis players are shocked with ITIA's verdict at this point. Now, I understand that Sinner says it entered his body through no fault of his, but it still was there. Sure, in small quantity, as reports say, but he tested positive twice for it, a performance-enhancing drug. Here's what I feel. You cannot have different yardsticks for different athletes. If many Italian sportspersons before Jannik Sinner were punished for the same offence, faced consequences of an unintentional consumption or transference, shouldn't Sinner too then have faced similar punishment? Does his status as a tennis player, a world number one in fact, defeat all the rules, even though it was unintentional? What do you think? Let us know. Bigger the voice, the larger the impact. A statement that seems apt, keeping the ongoing protests in the Indian city of Kolkata in mind. As the nation continues to rage over the rape and murder of a trainee doctor, more voices have come forward in expressing their anguish over this heinous crime. Celebrities too have joined the movement. The latest is former India captain Sourav Ganguly. Now, Ganguly has vowed to join the protest to seek justice for the victim. Reports suggest his wife will accompany him as they march to show their solidarity in this protest. And it's not surprising to see Ganguly come forward and show his dissent. He's one who's never shied away from voicing his opinions, a captain who stood by his team even back then and stood up to the world. He's the captain who first championed India's fearless attitude. He laid the foundation for what India went on to become, a powerful cricketing country that many others began to fear on the field. And as BCCI president, he never minced words either. Always did what he felt was the right thing to do for Indian cricket. And so this move isn't surprising, to see Ganguly continue doing the same thing in that same vein even after cricket. The decision by Ganguly, though, to join the demonstration is a massive one, but this move had its fair share of glitches because Ganguly received some bit of backlash for a statement he'd made regarding this matter just a couple of days ago.
I don't think everything should be judged on an isolated incident. There is no room to think that everything or everyone is not safe. Such accidents happen all over the world, so it is wrong to think that girls are not safe. Not only in West Bengal, but everywhere in India, women are safe. One should not judge by one incident.
As soon as Ganguly said this, he faced a lot of flack, and Ganguly went on to even change his profile picture to prove a point, to show what this gory incident really meant to him. But the criticism did not stop. This had to follow given the rage people are experiencing. So Ganguly had to issue a clarification. He said his statement was misconstrued and taken out of context.
I don't know how what I said last Sunday was construed or misinterpreted. I've said it earlier as well. That is a terrible thing. Now the CBI, police are investigating the matter. It's very shameful what has happened.
His clarification did put the chaos to rest, but it still needed a massive gesture for Ganguly to prove his intent on this issue, and joining the protest became that move. Now, while celebrities continue to show their anguish and support on social media platforms, someone like Ganguly taking the road is a first for this protest, and it's Ganguly's way to prove that just like rest of India, he too wants action taken. In fact, for a sports person of his stature to join hands in this movement is a very pertinent expression, and that is what will build pressure. Ultimately, it is when the big voices that matter, that are trusted in society, lead the charge, it can amount to change. Ganguly is not just a popular face in India. He's a global name. He's one of the biggest cricketers the country has produced, and the fact that he's attached himself to this motion is going to have its impact in the weeks to come. What his presence does is not only put pressure on authorities and those handling this matter, but also brings sharp focus of the world onto this incident, something many wouldn't want. And as more step forward, taking cue from Ganguly, this could snowball into an incident that is bound to have far-reaching consequences. Cricket is trying to become a truly global sport. Getting cricket to enter USA via the T20 World Cup was one way. The sport in its T20 format has finally made it to the Olympics, where it will debut at the Los Angeles edition in 2028 in its T20 format. So cricket is trying its best to become a sport of overarching umbrella that Olympics signifies. But guess what? If you wanted an ambassador to truly bring sports personalities from across various disciplines under one roof, you needn't look past Turkey's Yusuf Dikec. This uber cool pistol shooter has inspired a celebration move that has caught on like fire. With cricketers too now joining the bandwagon, the Olympics is long over, but Dikec is continuing to make waves.
Sport somehow always celebrated the effort. How exhausting it looks somehow would make that achievement or that moment stand out more. So when a very casual, non-sports-like persona does stunning things, you have to notice. And that's how the world sat up to take note of Istanbul shooter Yusuf Dikec. I mean, what's not to love? At an age when you're constantly on the lookout for anything that's fuss-free, here comes along a shooter who looks anything but like one. Dikec, with his casual pose, non-threatening and almost underwhelming demeanor, did some very overwhelming stuff. He pocketed silver in the air pistol event and somehow managed to topple the gold medalist. Because the Olympics event may have long got over, but Dikec continues to be a massive talking point. That's true blue influencer material right there. It of course started off at the Games itself, when Armand Duplantis, the gold medal winning Olympic record-setting pole vaulter, decided to celebrate the monumental achievement Dikec style. And it didn't stop with him. The pole vault gold medal winning athlete over in the women's category wanted in on it. Australia's Nina Kennedy went full hitman pose. That's what it's called now, after winning a historic first gold, paying another tribute to the internet sensation. And then Jamaican athlete Roger Stoner, who created history winning a discus throw gold with a new Olympic record. Well, after the win, the 25-year-old celebrated by posing in Dikec style. Think about it, not just gold medalists, they created records and decided to honor that by paying respect to one man who had taken the Olympics by storm. And the repercussions were truly felt over in the UK, where the 100 tournament is underway. From a Jamaican to a neighbour Trinidadian. West Indian former captain and a T20 giant Kieron Pollard decided to become a Dikec doppelganger too. After taking a catch, he paused to celebrate, pointing the finger gun and ticking his other hand into his locker. His teammate and fellow West Indian Akil Hussain followed suit. He posed in a similar fashion after he took a wicket. To think it's now not just an internet meme fest anymore. Dikec is much more. He set a tradition, that of being cool and unfazed in the face of pressure. That's what he symbolizes now, and his impact is seen across sporting disciplines and countries. Absolutely everyone has taken note of this shooter. So the next time you want to celebrate a moment, don't go for boring fist bumps or mechanical high fives. Get the Dikec mode on and do the hitman instead.
Time for last serve. India's Manu Bhaker is the true definition of an all-rounder. She can shoot all day and win new medals at the Olympics. She can play the violin as if she was born to do that. And when she's not doing any of this, she can groove gracefully to some Bollywood music. Take a look. So that wraps up First Sports edition here today. I'll see you again tomorrow with much more. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.